Okay, so this is the reveal video and sort of rundown for this model. Now, you're not likely to know what this is, and there's no harm in that, because there wasn't many, and not many people know what this plane is. So I've got my book covering the technical data here, so I will try and explain it, because I've just noticed there's a little bit of confusion in the names. So I've got it in my book here as the North American Ga-43. I thought it was the General Aviation, which I think is what the box art was, funny enough. This is, so they've got it listed here as the North American Ga-43A Clark. It's definitely known as the Clark. This model is the SOVA-M manufacturer from Ukraine in 1/72 scale. This is the only markings in the box, which is good news for me. And it is it's part of that LAPE there is they were flying with that, and they were also flying under the FARE, which is the Spanish Air Force. This is all during the Spanish Civil War, but this really relates here. This relates to that's a terrible pointer, isn't it? A rusty old screwdriver. This relates to the internal postal service for the Republican government during the war. Very confusing. Just don't even try and understand it. What this did really was a transport plane taking mail, goods, packages, whatever, between airports that were in Republican control, obviously not nationalist. Hence the three colours on the rudder there, which denotes the Republican Air Force during the Civil War. It would have had different markings if it was pre-war. So this isn't the government markings. All very confusing. Anyway, it's a nice plane, one-off. There was only 5 made, from what I can see. One even had floats. What on earth must that have looked like? Bonkers thing. So here's a few brief notes on this from my book. So it says here, when the prototype of this plane, called Pilgrim 150, flew for the first time in the spring of 1932, it was the world's most advanced commercial machine, thanks to its all-metal construction, retractable landing gear and powerful engine. Thus equipped, the plane could reach 194 miles per hour, which was an enormous speed for planes of its kind at the time. It looks like it was handed over due to financial problems. American Airplane and Engine Corporation sold this prototype and manufacturing rights to the North American Corporation, which is what this is under the guise of. And the plane was to appear on the market under the designation Ga-43, fitted with a safer but less powerful engine. Right, so there's a bit of a change of engine there. Several companies from all over the world were interested in acquiring the plane, though in small quantities, in view of the radial innovations embodied in it. It was finally adopted by Japan Air Transport, Avianca, SCADTA, I don't know what that is, Western Air Express and Swiss Air. The last named company purchased 2 of the land version, which, among other modifications, incorporated blind flying equipment and a bigger vertical stabilizer than the series machines. And I think that's what we've got here. So the Swiss Air machines is what we're talking about here. CH-170 and CH-169. They're the 2 planes that were sold to the Swiss. And public confidence in the new monoplanes, this Ga-43, was shattered by the total destruction of CH-170 in an accident. And then the other, which was 169, which is this one we're looking at here, was sold to the French, and then shortly afterward appeared in the Spanish Republican Air Force, the FARE, as a transport plane painted completely red. After flying for some time on this type of mission, it was grounded by a lack of suitable spares and was scrapped in an Alicante workshop during the war. So there we are. This plane could have been all over red. Well, I didn't read that. Never mind. This is the marking option that came in the box. it's a very nice model. It is. I've got some plans here showing how this looks in 1/72nd scale, and this model measures up really quite well. Not that anyone's going to worry about that with a model of a plane that only had 5 built. Now, what I've done here is what was this? For just purely through a lack of having XF, whichever it is, 7, I sprayed this with gloss red from the Tamiya markings and then matted it down. It was no problem, and the propeller's fallen off because I've knocked it, of course. Would do, wouldn't it? Let's just try and get that back on. This is where I break it all now. The landing gear falls off, the propeller falls off. So, as far as short run kits go, this wasn't bad. It wasn't. This was never going to be one I sort of tried my best on to be a show-stopping model. It was just one to represent it, really. It's nice to do something in Silver Wings. There's no wash on this or anything like that. I think I'm going to go back, because I was getting this ready for the show at Telford. I think I'm going to go back. I've not painted the tail wheel. I'm going to do a bit of a wash. There's some lights up here. I think I'll just paint in some of the details and then call it that. I've learned that I could have done a bit more work there on the windows because they're not flush. What I should have done is glued these in, sanded them down flush, then buffed them back and masked them. I didn't do that. This was a clear piece and it went on fine, really. Looks fine. You can see through it. You can see a little bit of the cockpit. Got this bizarre exhaust sticking out there. There is the nearly gone again. Look, I should glue it in, really. Wheels and undercarriage actually very sturdy. Went on really well. There's a little bit of photo etch, some of which is on those oleos, I guess, for want of a better word. And this little round thing there is etch. Few decals went on superbly. They're the in-house stuff that all the Ukrainian manufacturers use, which is Decograph. They went on superbly. Some of the best decals I've used. I got a bit of super glue misting on this light here, and unfortunately there's a little bit of masking tape as well on the inside. But apart from that, I'm very happy with it. The way it built up, you could keep the engine loose, and the cowling clipped on. But there we are. Yeah, very nice. I'm not going to take some photos just for the minute, simply because I want to do some of these finer details and then maybe take the photos then. But I thought I'd just give you a sort of roundup of this model because I doubt anyone's really seen it, and if you're interested, it's actually, to be honest, it's probably a good entry into short run kits. It really wasn't that difficult. However, it had the same old problems, but dealing with the seams and getting the wings on was absolutely fine. Thanks to Paddy and Tim, but Paddy specifically, for pointing out when I showed them photos that there's absolutely no dihedral on. And I was very quick. I was trying to flatten it. I put it on, and instead of lifting the wings up, I was trying to flatten out the gap. What you should do, as always, is put the fuselage on, lift the wings in. That gives you your dihedral, which is what I've done. And there was quite a lot on this plane, probably more than what I've got modelled here. As you can see, it should be perhaps even a little bit more on that, the wings coming up. But there we are, all good. I'm very happy with the model, and it's been out at the show. I've scuffed my very nicely varnished base here, but I'll be able to sort that out. And there we are, Ga-43 Clark from SOVA-M models in 1/72nd scale. Very nice kit.